Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us?
Yes, now we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Great. There are some bugs. So can you close?
Maybe we need to switch off the sound here.
I keep not
Yes.
here. Gabriel, can you hear us now?
Is it better now?
Is to switch off the mic when you do not speak. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, let's take it. So, guys, first question. First question, guys. Can you hear us? So, first question, can you hear me, Gabriel? Yes. Good. Perfect. Second question. Nada? Nada? Nada, can you hear us? Yes, perfect. Now put your mic on because we were able to hear you very clear. Put your mic on just to check if the others can hear you also.
Can you hear us, Gabriel? Okay.
It's on.
Okay, very good.
Should
We cannot hear you.
loud and clear. But the thing is, we cannot hear you, Gabriel. So should I just go ahead?
I think you will start.
There is no sound.
We cannot hear you, Gabriel. When we put the sound on,
We can see you, but we cannot hear
only see
you.
I think there is only one who can speak, right? Okay, do you want us to mute the sound so you can start?
Just close your
Yes.
mic for the.
Students, 58
Now can you hear me? Perfect. Now we are ready to go, guys. Super. It takes a little bit of time with the IT, with all the internet connections and so on. Don't worry. Yes. Now, perfect. I'm extremely, my volume, it's okay like this? It's better like this, the volume, guys. Good. So, we shall start. First of all, welcome to everybody. I'm extremely happy to welcome also the colleagues from Emirates and the representatives from Dubai Planning, which are here to give you an idea about the task. I'm not going to lose too many time with the introduction. My objective for this first training, which is 1 hour, is first of all to give you a short presentation of the contest as such, to understand a little bit what we are speaking about, and then I will invite the colleagues from Emirates to make a short presentation of the task and to give you a perspective of how do they see it from Dubai, how do they look at the task from the, let's say, the origin, from the task origin. And last but not least, to briefly inform you about some of the tools that you will find. Then in the second training, I will walk you through the MultiComfort house criteria, the way to look at them and to interpret them. Is that clear? Everybody could hear me and understand me? Super, great. Now, we shall start. The main objective of this competition, of the MultiComfort House Student Contest, is basically to diffuse energy efficiency and sustainable design. And while doing this is to make people, designer, architects, engineers, think about the importance of the different dimensions of comfort. We will shall be speaking about thermal, acoustic, we will be speaking about visual or the indoor air quality. The main target groups are the architectural students and the universities and the professors with whom we are working close by. Just to give you an idea about the event itself, it has been started back in 2003 and we are holding this event yearly since 2005. As you might already be aware of, we are speaking about two steps. The first step is a national stage here that you can see, and inside the first step there is also an online entry stage. The first one, the national stage, it's made for all the countries where this event it is held and it's organized by Saint-Gobain, while the online entry stage is open for all the students from countries where, for example, let's say Saint-Gobain is not represented today. The main point is that the winners of these stages, they are invited and they will join together to this international stage, which is going to be held in Dubai in May this year. This is very briefly the introduction. Now, in order to support you along the preparation of this, you will receive several informations. There are different workshops, trainings, and other actions to which I would like to make you a very brief description. So, first of all, in all the countries which are organizing national stages, there are going to be held trainings. So, in order to be aware of these trainings, please contact your local responsible. If we are speaking about the national stage in Emirates, your local contact is NADA. All these contacts, you can find it on the website of the contest, which is www.isover-students.com. It's the same website from which you have connected to the training, to the online training today. This is the first point. Then if I go further, the main or the one of the target of your design should be to approach to design while thinking about the multi-comfort criteria. The multi-comfort criteria, these are the criteria for moderate climate. They take into account energy efficiency criteria, they look at air tightness, they look at visual comfort, they take into account thermal comfort or acoustics. We shall be talking about this in a deeper perspective in the second training, and starting tomorrow we'll have trainings dedicated to each of the 4 comfort dimensions. So this will be fully covered, so you can absorb the information and design while thinking about this. Furthermore, you shall be finding a lot of information. So on the same website that we are speaking, you will be finding design books, you will be finding acoustic books, you will be finding videos and many other information, just to get a more comprehensive understanding of what it means to design while thinking of the different dimensions of comfort. Furthermore, there is also a calculation tool which is available, and along with this calculation tool you can find plenty of construction details. Some of them you can use them as such, some of them you can design by your own imagination, so there is no limitation to this, but you can find it here. And we are going to have also a specific training for the multi-comfort house designer next week. It will take about 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, just to walk you through this information and support you while doing this. So, just speaking about designer, this will give you an idea if you are heading in the main direction. It is not, how shall I put it, it is not that somebody will look if your result will be, I don't know, 69.9 kilowatt hour per square meter in year for cooling or 71.2. It's just to give you the perspective and to an idea, and to help you while you are designing to understand better where the influences are coming. Yeah? Then also there are trainings for students beside the ones which are done locally. There is this full set of online trainings in which we try to put together all the people that could support you and give you information about the different dimensions of comfort, about the contest task, about all the other issues that can be linked or related with this. You have received the training. The connection, it is very simple. You just type in the address of the website, and once you have the address of the website, the connection will be open around 1 hour before we start, so you just very easily can log in. Any specific questions linked to this part? You can still hear me, yes? Yes. So, good. Do you have any questions linked to this? Good. Okay. Feel free, in case you are having any questions, just to type them, and we'll try to the best of our abilities to answer with them. If we are not able to answer within the timing of the presentation, we'll take this frequently asked, or we'll take these questions and answer to them for the next one. Furthermore, I will make a resume of the questions that are coming, and I will send to all of you by email the questions and the answers, so that you are fully aware. Now, to give you a slight idea about the event itself, this is one picture from the last edition. The last edition, 2017, has been held in Madrid last year, also in May. You can see here all the participants. We have the international stage, the final event, in the main conference room of the mayor of Madrid. There were plenty of people. Just as an idea, the task last year was the urban regeneration of a community in Madrid. As I've been mentioning, it was held between 31st of May and 2nd of June. And if I give you just a brief update on the results, we had roughly over 1,800 students registered from 90 countries, representing a little bit over 200 universities. You can see in yellow here all the countries that have organized national stages. This year will be even more. And in orange you can see the country of origin of the participants for the online entry stage. So you can see quite a big number of participants. This year I think we will exceed again these numbers. Now, two very important informations. First, it is about the international stage. The 2018 international stage in Dubai will be held between 12th and 15th of May. So, those of you which have won their national stages or that have won the online entry stage will arrive on 12th in Dubai. Then we'll have a full day on 13th. Yeah, this is the, let's say, the hardest or the most difficult, if you wish, day for the participants, because this is the day when all the teams will present in front of an international jury their projects. You will have, all of you, 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes by clock, in which in front of the participants you will have the chance of presenting your project, exposing your idea, and convince the jury members that your project is the best and deserves to win the first prize. The next day, on 14th, it's going to we are going to have the awarding ceremony. And the departure, it is scheduled for 15th of May. And very briefly, the agenda of this edition. You will receive, all of you, more detailed presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. Agnieszka, no. In Poland, there is going to be an online and is going to be a national stage, and it might be that it's going to be organized online, but it's not the online entry stage, because Poland will organize a national stage, and there will be a winner there will be participants which will come directly from Poland. In case of the online entry stage, all the remaining students representing, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 countries will take part in this online entry stage, and only the winner of this stage will participate. But for the national stages, for the countries organizing national stages, like Poland in this case, there is going to be a local winner that is going to be representing. Sarah, in case of Egypt, there is a national stage of Egypt, but the formalities and the way that Egypt has decided to proceed with this is just going to happen online. So there is going to be a winner from Egypt that is going to participate. You do not need to register on the online entry stage, but it's just that the colleagues from Egypt decided to do everything online, not to do it in the universities. Kakimov to be clear. I will answer to your question in a second. Now you do not need to pay. It's just that you need to pay attention to reading the contest task, and I will be doing that in shortly. I was assuming that some of you will ask who is going to be the jury, because I know that students are quite often asking this question. So I hereby present you upfront the structure of the jury so that you are fully aware of it. You can see here, this is the jury from 2017. As you can see, we do not have the final version of the jury in 2018 in the sense of the names, but at this stage, the jury is formed or the structure of the jury will be formed by 7 people. 2 persons will represent Dubai Planning and Dubai Municipality, as they are the main partner and they are the main beneficiary of the results. It is also them who know the best what they are expecting and understanding fully the dimensions of the task. Then once this is clear, there are 2 members of the jury which I call them international. There is going to be an architect specialized in energy efficiency and multi-comfort design from Germany, and there is going to be a second architect from Emirates, from, let's say, call it from Middle East, which is going to be present in the jury. I just answered to your question, Fatima, that 2 persons will represent Dubai, and one most likely will be from Dubai Municipality, while the second person will be from Dubai Planning. So, last 3, there are 2 persons from Saint-Gobain, and most likely we are going to have a former student, a former winner of the competition, which is currently being an architect and working as such, so that you have a clear picture of the contest. Any questions? Okay. I will close this one and I'll close this presentation, and just very briefly before handing the hand to the colleagues and to the speakers from Dubai Properties, I'm going to answer to this question, which was asked by Kakimov. Kakimov is correct, yes? So, Kakimov, Bahrum, okay. Bahrum, the answer to your question, you can find it in the contest task at transport and travel expenses. So, if you go to page number 7, you will find a full description of jury. You can see here that the organizer shall bear the transport expenses as well as the cost of accommodation, transport for the winners. Participants are responsible for obtaining the passport and or visa travel if you need. That the transport will be organized from the capital of the country in which the university of the participant is registered, and everything else. So you have full documentation here. Now, let me ask you a different question. How many of you have read fully the contest task? Great. Do you have any specific questions before passing the hand about the contest task? Sarah, the CAD drawings are already on the website. They are already on the website and you can download them free. Same question, Yusuf. Same answer, Yusuf. The CAD drawings, they are available on the website. Good. Now, I will pass the hand to the colleagues in Dubai. I will close this one. So, Mona, please check the update because it's the full right scale. So now a short introduction of the site from the colleagues in okay, I will double check this with the scale and I will get back to you. I have uploaded a new version of the CAD and there should be there ready and available. So please double check it, and if you have questions, let me send me an email. We'll go to the colleagues in Dubai and then we'll get back with questions. So Nada, back to you. I'll slow.
Gabriel?
Can you all hear us? Great.
Okay, good. Okay, my name is Saif Al-Sayed. I'm the head of planning and research from Dubai Municipality. I'm joined here with my colleagues, Ms. Nada Shami, from the local organizer, Saint-Gobain, and engineer Kifah Beitan, and she's the director of district management from Dubai Properties, who are the developer of this whole site, which includes the site in which you will have your competition. So I've realized some names here are from the UAE, so you know enough about the history, but I'll have to mention a little bit to those who are abroad. So I'm first of all delighted that we're having this competition at this time, especially that we have the Expo 2020 coming soon. And in fact, actually a few days ago, I was told there is exactly 1,000 days left to the Expo. So I'll be talking a little bit about the history. As some of you know, the UAE is made up of 7 emirates. It's a confederation, and Dubai, the Abu Dhabi is the capital of the UAE. Dubai is known more as Dubai is the second largest emirate, and it's known to be the trading hub here in the country. Even though there is trading also in all the emirates, but Dubai have had its big share in it. So can we move to the next slide? Yeah. You can see here, this is an image of Dubai almost 70 years ago. It was a little town on the shores of the Gulf. It had almost 20,000 its population, and the people here were more reliant on pearl diving, fishing, and trading with neighboring countries, in textiles, in herbs, even in gold and some other goods. And so the sea was very, very close and very significant to the lives of people here. And what even made it more stronger, I mean, the relation between people and the sea, is when it extended through the land of Dubai into what is known as Dubai Creek. Now, in the past, it had a shallow, somehow waterbed, but later on, when Dubai developed, it was made deeper. So the creek is really what constitutes what is known as the genius loci, if you know the term. It's the spirit of the place, or the spirit of Dubai. Now, along the creek, as you can see from these first two images, there were mainly two types of construction in the town. One is the more heavier. It's not heavy compared to what we see today, but it was the heavier type, and one was more of a light construction. The heavier type was mainly built houses built out of coral stone, along with gypsum and sand, and which is more like the adobe type of construction. And then the other type was more made out of palm fronds, which was built by people who had a lower income than the others. But interestingly, both types were responding to the environment in some way. So in the adobe type, you would see what's called the barji, or the wind towers, which allowed for air to flow through the spaces within. There was no electricity, of course, by that time. And then in the other type, the light construction, the fronds were physically somehow transparent. It allowed for the air to flow through them. Now, after the discovery of oil, Dubai, with the ruling of Dubai, with its ruler Sheikh Rashid, may his soul rest in peace, knowing that the oil was limited by that time and that they had to do something, he set great milestones for the economy of Dubai. So mainly there were big projects that are considered milestones in Dubai. One of them is making the creek deeper, because that's where the vessels, the wooden vessels, the dhows would flow through to get to the city, and all the trading would be happening. And then later they built the Jebel Ali port, which was considered at some point the largest man-made port in the world. And other projects such as the World Trade Center and Dubai Airport and many other projects, which are known to be the milestones for the city before it boomed during the era of Sheikh Mohammed. And during that time also, Sheikh Rashid set all the governmental institutions, including Dubai municipality and other institutions. Now, from the slide here, you can see the old Dubai, which we saw in the first slide, and its relation to the site. So the creek was extended all the way to where you see your site is, and then at that point, and at this point here, it stopped where we had the reservation at the moment. And then only a few years ago, it was further extended in here throughout the Business Bay and Jumeirah, And it was, I mean, when I look at it, it is more like an extension of what happened in the past, an extension of the economy of Dubai through its peak. There are a few information that we can mention later. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is showing a bit of the old environment in the past. What you see here is the Fahedi port, and this is now the location of what was reserved from a Fahedi area, and the ruler's court is here at the moment. Some of these houses, as you may know, were reserved. Some of the neighborhoods, some of them were rebuilt, and some of them were extended in different ways by other developers. So what you see here in the past is the humanistic scale of the early dwellings in Dubai, compared to as it grew, it became bigger and the scale grew larger until we built until Dubai built the tallest tower in the world, which is Burj Khalifa. I'm sure you know. And here you can see after Sheikh Rashid's era, when the Dubai started booming in the beginning, and certain neighborhoods were changed to a different form of construction, concrete construction, but they still also maintained that organic shape of the neighborhood because it went along with the old plots, which were based on the old houses. So you can see this organic type of extension here, and then later when Dubai was master planned by John Harris, there were a bit of extensions that are more rectilinear, like you see in many other cities. So this is Dubai a few years back, and this is the old area. It still maintains so many of its spaces of the old scale. And of course, later when it boomed, you can see the new construction, which is still going on, Burj Khalifa and the new city centers. What you see here also is many of the developments in the same way that the Greek was extended throughout the land also was extended throughout the sea in these man-made islands. The first being the Palm Island and other islands by the developer named Nakheel. Okay, I'm going to pass the mic to. Oh, yeah, well. So, okay, I'm going to switch the mic and the camera to my colleague, Janir Kifah. So she will talk to you about the site and its relation.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. Thank you to Saif for his introduction. My name is Kifah Spitan. I work for Dubai Properties. Just to give you a small brief, Dubai Properties is a company owned by the government, by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, and he has granted a huge land for us to develop it. So one of this land is the Culture Village, in which you have the land allocated for your competition. And our job as a developer to make sure we develop all of this land bank given to us to increase the value of the city of Dubai. So our job not only to develop a small piece of land, it's a small cities or district within the Emirate of Dubai to make sure we achieve His Highness Sheikh Mohammed's vision. So I'm sure you got the material, the site contest. Some of you have visited the site, some maybe didn't get the chance. But I would like to give you some brief about the Culture Village Phase 2. we can go through the presentation. As my colleague Saif has introduced how the creek has been formed, part of it has been formed naturally through a crack of the water from the sea. Then it was the rest of it as a man-made, in which we increased the depth all over the canal, the creek that you can see now on the recent images shared by my colleague Saif, all the way down through Dubai Design District, Business Bay, till we reach Jumeirah Beach. So it's a full circle of a canal connected both sides of the sea. Now, Culture Village Phase 2, which is the area, this is what my colleague has explained to you, all the way here. It's considered a very prime location because it's part of the few lands reserved within the old city of Dubai, not developed yet. So it's not within the extended city of Dubai, it's still on the heart of the city. So part of the land, the site is currently occupied by old shipyards owned by some local people who are building their dhow boats. And the dhow boats, this is something I hope all of you consider, because it's a very important character of the culture of Dubai, where people in the past days and during present, and I'm sure this will continue in the future, they are considering dhow boat as, first of all, a transportation way. They do it, they go for sailing, for picnic, for shipping some goods, for fishing, and they enjoy making the dhow boats because it's part of their heritage culture, which they inherited through different generations. So even the fathers, the sons, the grandfathers still having this important, let's say, hobby or industry within the family. So there is still a very major dhow shipyards now on the site, owned by 3 famous local families, and we are trying, within the design that Dubai Properties are doing to the site, to keep these shipyards part of the design, but maybe in a modern way, more into attracting tourism. But we want to keep the people who are constructing their dhow boats there, because it's an art, and we would love everyone to see that part. Now going, through the presentation. So this is the site. So all of this area, it's owned by Dubai Properties, and we're currently on the master plan stage. This is the site where your competition will be, and in the heart of the site, Dubai Municipality is constructing another landmark, which is His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Library. So this is, we call it the heart of the development, and we will be developing the rest of the site. Now, Culture Village, as the name comes, we need to ensure that we are building a contemporary architecture within that master plan, but we want to emphasize the identity of culture, Dubai culture. So as I mentioned, dhow boats are very important. We want to ensure that whatever onshore, offshore components are talking to the creek, so we're not going to build walls to prevent people of accessing the canal. We still might have some marinas, some pontoons, just to make sure whomever is visiting Culture Village too is interacting with the creek, and they are enjoying nice sunset, some retail on the promenade. So we want to make sure people interact with the creek. We're not going to block any of the sites. The other component we are considering in developing Culture Village too is the transportation. So as Gabriel said on the brief, that the students need to look into some energy saving, so you need to work carefully on the selection of the construction material that you are including on your design. And on the other side, looking to the bigger scale of the master plan, we are trying to create on this spine, which has an existing metro station, a transportation hub in which we will have taxis, buses, metros, and there is currently a marine station in which people can use the ferries or small abras to get transportation to this site, the old Dubai, or the new site of Dubai, which takes you to Business Bay.
Mona has a question.
Mona, I have
What is your question, Mona?
What is your question, Mona?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. She will ask.
I think it's the skin. Okay, yeah, that shows the limitations. That's the boundary.
Are you planning to extend the corniche to the location of the site?
Okay, Fatima. Okay, so as I mentioned, there will be onshore components and there will be offshore components. The offshore components, we are planning to extend on the this, let's say, the creek front of the development. We are trying to extend this area to do marinas and some floating retails. Floating retails, I'm sure I lived in Sydney for a while, so I know very well how in Sydney they extend the pontoons to have some retail, some jetties that people can walk inside the water. So as I mentioned, yes, we are planning to extend the corniche inside the water, of course, if we get approvals from the authorities. But as I said, yes, we want people to interact with the creek. We're not going to block it. And we're working to have Culture Village as a tourist destination as well. I hope I have answered your question, Fatima. Just to continue on the presentation, as you can see, this is the site, your site of the competition. The area is around 500,000 square meters, if I'm not mistaken.
We have Ivana asking a question.
Yes, Ivana, can you go ahead?
Can you receive the main measures of the library that is next to our site?
I think that question maybe Saif can answer.
We can arrange to get a plan, at least a site plan that shows the boundaries and the library building.
Yes, I hope you heard my colleague Saif's answer. He said yes, he can share a plan showing the boundary of the library. So that's a yes, Muna. Okay, just we would like to share with you, this is the current condition of the site. As you can see, this is, of course, there's no access of swimming, so it's a natural quay wall has been built all around the site. This is the metro station that I have explained to you, which is located on this spine.
Fatima is asking.
Yes, Fatima.
If it's a residential area, it won't be very private if the corniche was accessible by everyone.
Fatima, the Culture Village 2 is not restricted for residential, it's a mixed-use development. So to give you a brief, the residential zone will be on the top of the development, going down all the way here. So here will be the residential, so the towers will be toward Al Khil Road, the main road, so it will be easy access for residents. This area around the corniche or the creek will be part of it residential. There will be a hotel, a retail. All the frontage will be mixed between residential retail and residential. So the privacy of the residential towers will be, per tower will be gated, but the common areas, there is a local roads, there is pedestrian walkways, there is a parks that can be shared by everyone. So as I mentioned, we are building Culture Village to be part of the city of Dubai. I hope I answered your question. Okay, I think the site area different from.
This is the whole site, which includes the Dubai properties, of course.
Now this is the whole site, Yasser. I think your question, maybe Gabriel or Nada can get back to you on it, on the exact site, but this is the site area in which concerns the competition, the 14,500 square meters.
Yeah, we have only the upper side.
So this is your site, the upper part.
Okay. Khadija have a question about the soil mechanics of the project site. How many basement levels can you have for parking?
Okay, as per the soil test we have done, we can go maximum of 4 basements. If this will answer your question, so 4 basements maximum.
Okay. I have to check also the code of the management.
And you have, of course, to refer to the municipality code, the regulations on the basement, how many basements you can go, and the parking rates as well, as per your design. So if I go back, this is the existing, as I mentioned, this is the Abra station. This is photos showing how the area will look like.
This is from the festival site.
Now, this photo is taken from, let me go back to this, from this side, okay? So this side, this is the photo is taken, which is showing the bridge. So your site will be here. So if you can see, this is the dow boats I told you about. So yes, sorry, thank you, Gabriel. So this is the site, and this is the dow boats I told you that local people are constructing them. Okay, thank you, Gabriel, for the help. Okay, we'll go through. So yeah, this is the site, as you can see. This is Burj Khalifa. I'm sure maybe the photo was taken in a foggy day, but it's visible, especially on the clear skies on summer. And this is what the current dows. And this is the library, which is under construction. You can see the cranes, you can see the building is coming up. Muna, the road.
The road of Corniche will take a part from the site, or it will be from the extended part.
We'll show the plans.
We will share with you the site plans, but the corniche, which we call it the promenade or the quay wall, it's usually part of the site, the solid land. If we want to extend in the creek, it's going to be a floating structure. So the corniche or the promenade, yes, it's part of the site. And of course, we are coordinating with Dubai Municipality Construction team to make sure the library as well, the area surround the library, it's compatible with our design as well. So there will be accessibility from the library to the promenade. I hope I answered your question.
21.
This is another view from Festival City. So this is the site. This is the library under construction. This is the metro station, as you can see, and Burj Khalifa.
How about?
Sorry, not there. No. There will be ferries or abras connecting both sides. So from here to here, there will be abra stations. And as you can see, Festival City opposite side, they have the big mall, and they have the hotel as well. So it's another tourist destination can take you to your site.
How about setbacks from road, library, and sea line? The codes for this site are not available.
We will provide.
Dubai Municipality team will provide you with those details.
They can check them on the website also.
And you can check it on the website of Dubai Municipality. I will pass again to my colleague Saif, so he can take you through the His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Library. Thank you.
So the library is currently under construction. We just have this image at the moment to have a look at the to see the form that will be shaped soon, which will be part of the rest of the development. But to take you through, we have some other sites also that show some important details that concern you. There is also, you can find from the web all the information about the climate. As you know, most of the year it's very hot, but in winter we have a very beautiful weather where people spend so much time outdoors. But we also want to extend this through the developments that are happening for people to also try to make use of the outdoors even in the hot weather. So we need some also design and engineering solutions for this important matter. So you can see this. This is the main development site, which includes your site and its relation to other important sites in Dubai. So on one hand, you can see, of course, Burj Khalifa is here. In the future, in the near future, we will have the new Creek Tower, which is going to be taller than the boat, so you have views. So you need to put that into consideration. You can see the proximity from Dubai Airport. You can see other important sites like the IFC, the Dubai International Financial Center, and the sanctuary, which is a very, very important issue in Dubai, not only Dubai, but actually globally. The environmental issues have to be considered in all design with the sustainability and all the regulations and the rules that were set for you in the website. Now, I knew only yesterday actually that, or maybe some of you know that we have flamingos migrating from and to Dubai in this region. So this is also a sanctuary that is considered an attraction for these birds. And I knew yesterday that some of them, after doing some researches and monitoring their movement, some of them are staying the whole year in Dubai, so they don't travel anymore. So they like this. They like staying in Dubai. So this is a matter that you can also consider. This plan shows the road. Okay, good. Thank you, Gabriel. It shows the road network. It shows also the metro lines that will run beneath the creek. It also shows the tram, which is in black. That's going to be the tram that runs through the site. So your site, and also the ferries. Your site is going to be in that corner there. And the blue line shows the connection with the ferries, as my colleague Ms. Kifah explained. It will connect to the other side, so it will enhance the the activities that are happening between both.
For the setback codes, you will be sending them. Khadija was asking.
You can, Ms. Khadija, you can check Dubai municipality website, and all the information is available. But we will also, through Saint-Gobain and the organizer's website, we will try to provide something very soon. This next slide shows the development that is by Dubai Properties, and your site is. Thank you, Gabriel. Your site is going to be in this somehow triangular shape. Thank you. It's a triangular shaped site. So you have a major part of the site on the creek, so there's so much interesting things to do to have accessibility for the public, and to have great views, to have places where people can have quiet and more tranquil type of places in relation to the busy city.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll answer what's her name. She asked about the Corniche.
Mona?
Yes.
How can we go back to
Okay, you have the question?
Yeah, I remember what she said.
Sorry, I'll just. I think Mona was asking about. I'll just explain to you what I was mentioning when some of the students ask about the residential and the Corniche. Sorry, I'm just trying to zoom out. Okay. Just make it smaller. Okay, no problem. So as you can see, this is the boundary, the plot boundary. So this will be the Corniche all around. So within the plot boundary, we're gonna build the Corniche exactly up to the plot limit. These are the residential towers on the top. So here are the residential towers in which they have their own access road from the back. So the privacy are maintained for the residential. This area will be more into not tourist destination. There will be hotel, there will be retail, the library, that it's more publicly open, and they have their own parking and car access. This area, of course, no vehicles are allowed. It's going to be mainly for pedestrians. Then if we go to this slide, this is where we are planning to extend on the water, which again, it's a floating pontoons. It's not going to be. Can you hear me now? Okay. So these are, as I mentioned, the offshore components, which will be having marinas, some floating retail as a pontoon, but not a constructed building. And this is your side. Okay.
Here.
Kifa? Just, Nada, can you turn the mic off just 2 seconds to make a comment? Thank you. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. I just want to make one comment because perhaps it's not very clear. So, I'll just, for 2 seconds, sorry for that, Kifa, but just to make things very clear, if you go to the contest site, to the contest task, and you take a look at the contest task, many of these questions have been already answered. I just tried to get it. So you can see here very clearly, this is the site that you are requested to develop. It's very specific and clear defined in the contest task. It is parcel E001. And we'll go through it during the task presentation, just to make sure that everybody understood correctly and saw it very clearly. So sorry for that interruption. I'm just pass it back to you, Nada.
The DAO.
No, it's the DAO issue. As my colleague Mustafa mentioned, the site currently has a DAO construction or a ship existing at the moment, and the people there were given actually some new lands to move to Jabal Ali, but here the competition, as I understand, is telling you that you can consider keeping part of the DAO building site, which can in itself become an attraction. But of course, you will have to work around with it to maintain, to ensure that the accessibility is done in a proper way. Because on one hand, you have the heavy logs that are being brought to the site, or any heavy industrial type of movement happening in relation to the site and to the development around. So it is more of a like logistic planning, but keeping the site or using what's happening there as an inspiration partially for your design would be an interesting thing, and to see how you will consider in your design. So, and this is the pedestrian paths that were shown, and that will be part of the development that will happen later on.
I just would like to explain to you the pedestrian path. As you can see, it's connecting people or pedestrians from the transportation hub I told you about, which you have done at the Abra station, then the metro. So we want to make sure that pedestrians have a consistent pathway. And considering the summer weather of Dubai, we are looking to provide some natural shading, some rest areas to encourage people using the pathways. So that's something as well I want you to study very well about the climate and the temperature on summer, and what solution can be brought within your designs to ensure pedestrians still using those walkways.
Yes, I have a question.
Yasser, yes.
Building on site, on water side, not only part of it. Of course, with total built area, 62%.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Yasser, that's the understanding, yes. And I'm sure you have all of this information provided to you. So all the slides that you are looking at, it's our part of our master plan of the overall cultural village, which we want to include as well bicycle circulation. And this does not interact with the vehicle circulation as well. Road hierarchy, the red ones will be the main spine roads, which this road will take you directly to the library project. And this is the main carriage dowel road, we call it, which is a main road taking you from up till bottom. This is the main road, which is developed by the Roads and Transportation Authority, takes to the site. The orange ones is the local roads, which back to, I think, Muna's question, this will serve all of the residential sectors. This is the DAOs, as you can see, after they are built. And thank you.
Do you have any questions?
I'll pass to Sue.
Do you have any more questions?
We will be uploading this presentation on the website for clearer
Okay.
images.
We will upload this presentation and some additional text for your use. And it will be interesting to see how you will develop this. You know, Dubai has many different architectural styles, many different scales, many different issues related to the urban fabric. So this is going to be a challenge, but I'm sure that having all this information and with your, I'm sure your education has been very good. We are really looking forward to how you will come up with this this design.
Thank you, Mr. Saif.
Thank you very much.
So we will pass the mic to you, Gabriel.
Can you hear me? So Nada, can you hear me? Everybody, can you hear me? Great. Now, to make some comments, first of all, let me thank to our colleagues and our friends from Dubai. Thank you for taking the time. I think this was a very clear message, and now most of the students, they have a clear view. Of course, there are some questions like, Sarah, do we design the pedestrian path that is in front of our site? Well, if you look in the contest task, which has been designed specifically that provides you with that amount of information that allows you to be creative while functioning within the site boundary. Together with your teachers, we had a long 2 days meeting deciding what kind of information are needed in order for you to develop your project. So perhaps the most important thing that you have to remind is that you are asked to imagine yourself the right answer when you don't have an answer as such. We didn't want to put too many boundaries, as well as we didn't want to give you a full empty plot on which to design. This being said, I'm going to make a resume of these questions, and together with the colleagues from Dubai, to whom I again thank them very much for being with us, we'll answer to you and upload it to the presentation, to the website. Furthermore, all this presentation is going to be uploaded because it has been registered, and we are going to upload it so you can look at it 10,000 times without any questions. So thank you very much, Nada. Thank you, Kifa. Thank you. Back again. Sorry. Now it's better? Great. So as I was saying, we put all the information together. Fatima, if you didn't find statistic to provide apartment type, you have to figure it out somehow by yourself. But I already presented some information. And again, do not bound or limit yourself in some rules. It is space, there is space for your creativity. And I would kindly suggest to you to take a 5 minutes break that we can recharge, and then we go back and we enter a little bit into the multi-comfort criteria. But before that, I'm going to show you some very important information that you should be aware of them, and you should read them very carefully because they will answer to many of your questions. Would that be okay for you? 5 minutes break and then we get back. Great. So shall be seeing you in 5 minutes just to take this break to put everything back in order. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So, what I would like to share with you briefly for the next 5 minutes is a document which is called Teachers' Day Proceedings Feedback. Any of you have read this document? Okay, good. So I insist on this document because what happened is that together with almost 20, if not a little bit more, of the teachers from different countries, we have visited the site, and we have discussed together with the colleagues from Dubai, with Dubai municipality, with Dubai properties, with the teachers, and we agreed on this task and on the main criteria and ideas which are summarized on one hand in this document and on the other hand on the contest task. There is a big master plan with a lot of information as well, but this doesn't mean that this master plan will be 100% followed. Therefore, when we have drafted the task and discussing with Dubai properties and with the Dubai municipality, we said, okay, we need to give you a certain freedom, a certain limit, a certain degree of freedom that you can come out with some ideas which are not, or maybe you can find out some of the, or you can find some solution and responses that are not today within the document itself, within the master plan, and that can be afterwards integrated. Therefore, I kindly ask all of you to take a look at it. You can see these are again images from the site itself. I think I will make it slightly bigger. Our site, it's here, is this part. Yeah? It is E001. It's not the full part like this. Yeah? It's not this one. It is the lower part, which is this one. The DAOs are situated here, while the library is situated here. Then, if you go through the answers and through the feedback, I think this is a very important piece of information for those of you which are not within the Middle East. There is a very important feedback for those coming from countries where the climate is different, like in Czech. This you need to understand, and when you are designing, when you are thinking, you have to take into account these characteristics of the climate, which means that about 30% of the time in Dubai you can walk during the day and during the night outside. So basically the land is accessible for walking during the day and during the night. Then you have about 1/3 of the time when you can walk outside, but specifically when or during the night because the temperature are getting stronger during the day, and then there are 30% 3 months of the year when the climate is extremely demanding. When working inside or working outside during the day, it's extremely tough, and it is also tough for the night because you can experience 41, 42 degrees, and you can have at 9:30 in the morning 41 degrees. So the images, this feedback which is given to you by different teachers, you can see here Miss Zuzana from Czech, but not only, sorry, I made it too short. You will see Joe Jansen from Belgium. You can see here that some of their feeling. So this really should trigger you some question about the culture, the way of living, and yeah, you can see here 33 degrees at 9 a.m. and this was during September, which is a much warmer, much nicer, let's say, from climate point of view, period. I've been in July in Dubai, and there were 41 degrees in the morning. So please take the time to really read them and to go through all of them, as this will be, I would say, one of the best information you can have here. You can see here from the Professor Paganin from Italy, the same philosophy about the climate that you will have to take into account. And this climate, you have to think about it not only for the design of the building itself, but also when you are thinking about how you will solve within the site that was given to you, the planning, the general planning of it. Furthermore, within the task itself, we have asked you for the experience of living. Feel free to interpret this experience of living to your own criteria. It can be an experience of living from a helicopter point of view, or it can be an experience of living from a micro point view. It is up to you to decide. We tried to be balanced, so that's why I wanted it, and I asked you to have a look at it. We will upload also these informations, as I already mentioned. This training will be available online, so you can always look at it as many times you want. I will forward you the frequently asked question. Furthermore, you are having all the documents. Oh, can you hear us, guys? Can you hear me? Because Fernando has some problems. Can you hear me loud and clear? Okay, Fernando, maybe it's some issue with your speakers. So feel free to interpret this in your own way. You have seen the different points of view, and it's up to you to decide which of these you take into account and in which way you respond to them. Do I make myself clear? Okay, good. So I'm going to close also this one, and I'm going to open a presentation about the MultiComfort concept and about the comfort dimensions as such. Now, while you design in this competition, you'll find many times this expression of MultiComfort. And what is it? What it means from design point of view? Well, I'll try to walk you through and to give you some bits of information for each of it. And as I already mentioned, starting tomorrow we'll have some 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half dedicated training for each of them, trying to answer to the best of our abilities to your questions. But in the end, the strategies and the way that you respond to them will be your own interpretation. And as any of us, you might have preferences for one or for others. That's why we'll try to keep it as free as possible. Now, before going into the presentation itself, I just want to give you a short picture about Saint-Gobain. Saint-Gobain is one of, if not the oldest, one of the oldest companies, industrial companies found in the world. Yeah? It is traced back 351 years right now, as it was founded in 1665. The fathers, if you wish, were Ludovic XIV and his financial manager, Colbert. And the starting point of Saint-Gobain was the foundation of royal manufacture of glass, so the king's glass factory, which was located basically close to Paris in the city of Saint-Gobain. Therefore, the name of Saint-Gobain. Today, the company is within the top 100 industrial groups in the world, and also one of the most innovative companies in the world. As an example, it is also this contest, this new way of looking and challenging and sharing best practices among the participants. If I take it one step further and look at the corner values of Saint-Gobain, we help to create great living places and improving daily life. And the main points are the combination between the comfort, which is answering today to your specific needs. I want to be able to sleep without hearing my neighbor. I want to have a better, or I need that my employees have a better performance at offices, therefore I want to provide them with the excellent quality of indoor air. While doing this, not forgetting the bigger picture or the long-term picture, if you wish, which is the sustainability. Yeah? We need to look at better mobility. We need to look at resource efficiency. We need to look at the way that the demographic are changing. Basically, more and more people moving from rural to urban area. Everybody, most of the people living in multifamily buildings and so on. So these two, put it together, generated the foundation of the MultiComfort program, which has started in 2004, and we have taken into account safety, sustainability, and energy efficiency. Now, whatever proposition you will have in your design, if that proposition is not safe, it cannot be either sustainable, either energy efficient. So sustainability, safety, it's one point that you need to take into account from the beginning. While perhaps is not mentioned as such in the task, it is one of the key points that you have to look at also. When speaking about the different dimensions of comfort, well, we will discuss briefly about design, but we shall also be discussing about the thermal comfort. We'll be discussing about acoustics, about light and space, about the air quality, about having something which is easy to run and maintain, which is an interesting part of the building itself. And now, last but not least, we will mention sustainability through all three pillars of it, and how to take a look at it. Now, I said that we are going to speak briefly about the design. Here, it is your job to do it. Design and comfort, they are not opposite. Design and comfort, they go in the same direction, and you can see here plenty of designs, if you wish, of different visions that are all comfortable. So the only limit to the design is the human mind, if you want. There is no limit in the ideas that you can implement, and the comfort itself is not opposite, but it's if you wish, helping you to create even more daring and interesting designs. Yes, Ariel, what do you mean by the question? I'm just giving 1 minute to Ariel to write down the question. Well, you are not limited by imposing a certain typology of materials. You are having some general criteria about the maximum height, but if you decide not to use it, then it's up to you. You can decide yourself the shape, the geometric forms, if you put balconies or you don't put balconies, if you choose to have windows or don't have windows, if you go for a compact shape or you go for a non-compact shape. It is up to you to decide. Now, this being said, let's go further to speak about comfort. And looking at the thermal point of view, of course, we will not have this issue. Yeah, we will not have the question of, okay, it's going to be minus 50 outside, minus 35, and we need to do something about it. But we'll have, however, this problem. And in the thermal comfort presentation tomorrow, we will discuss a little bit more about how to obtain and what kind of architectural gestures or decision can help you to improve some of these, will help you to achieve this thermal comfort. Now, why do we speak about it? Because, okay, thermal comfort. Besides the clear link with energy consumption and sustainability, there is also an effect of the thermal comfort, for example, over the work performance. So if you are going to design, or if you design an office in which you will have too high or too low temperature, there is a direct connection between the relative performance in percentage and the temperature. So you can see it here, how the curve is going. So if you are going, for example, and I'm going to make this slightly bigger, if you are going to have an office in which it's too warm, you already decrease the performance of the human body by several percent. And this, it means a huge amount of lost money, if you want, because while operating offices, the biggest amount of costs is not linked to the building itself to have to have it running, but it's the cost with the people working there. And of course you can always say, yeah, but doesn't matter, we'll put some active cooling. Yes, you can also put some active cooling in case your building is not behaving thermally correct. Then you put some active cooling into it, and then you generate some other issues. Either you make cold hotspots, either you make people that are living in certain areas unhappy because it's too cold inside, because in their part is the ventilation which is coming, or you can generate issues related to the fact that you have designed this building, then there is a ventilation system coming in and you will have too much noise. Noise which is also, and you will see it in a while, affecting a lot the human performance. If I'm speaking about your residential approach, if you want, or I'll give you another example. If you speak about a hotel, perhaps it happened to you, it happened to me many times. I have switched off the ventilation in the hotel because it was too noisy and I could not sleep. The result was that either it got too cold, so I could not sleep because it was too cold. I had to wake up to put something warm around me and to put back to go back into the bed to try to sleep. Either the opposite, it went too warm, 32, 33 degrees. So you have to choose what do you prefer. You cannot sleep because it's too warm or too cold, or you cannot sleep because it's too noisy. So the things are connected. When you look at one dimension, you have to look also at the others because they are interconnected, and one, it's affecting the other one. Now, I will just go to the next one, speaking about comfort, just to give you an example, and we are going to go again deeper into details. Everybody knows to some extent that noise is not good. Well, there is a direct effect of the noise over the human health. And for example, if you cannot sleep because you are having too noisy neighbors, and this happens in a lot of buildings, there are researches showing that sleep duration and the incidence of coronary artery calcification are closely connected. And there are many other tests showing the effect of the noise over the human body, going, if you wish, up to the fact that the noise will affect the fetus, while or during the pregnancy. And there has been recently studies published showing that there is a connection between the weight of the baby when it's being delivered and the amount of noise to which the mother has been exposed during the pregnancy. So if there is too much noise, the weight of the baby decreases by different amounts according to the level of noise to which the mother has been exposed. So if you are making a residential space and the mother cannot sleep, that will even affect the baby. And we are going to go slightly deeper into this. Here is just to give you an idea of what can be the consequences. Then let me bring up a different angle to this, which is the air quality. Now, here you can see some results which are showing. Here is a test which has been done by Berkeley Lab, showing the impact of the CO2 over the capabilities of the people to make decisions. And if this with green, it's a good level of CO2. By the way, do you have an idea which is the average CO2 concentration today in outside in outside premises on the field, if you wish, or in the city. Do you have an idea what is the CO2 concentration in parts per million? Nobody? You can still hear me, yes? Okay, so normally it should be around 400, yeah? Can be slightly higher, slightly lower, yeah? So outside you have a 400 parts per million CO2 concentration in the atmosphere, and we are saying that, okay, an excellent building should be around 600. The standards or the norms or the existing regulation, it's around 1000. But in reality, what happens if you go to a classroom is that most likely you will get 2500 parts per million. So I'm pretty sure plenty of you have been, or some of you should experience this feeling of being dizzy and sleepy during, or especially during the third or the fourth courses, and especially during those days when, let's say, it's too cold outside and you cannot open the windows. That's also because of this increased CO2 concentration. So, last but not least, adding to this, it's the effect of light and the design of the space with light over the human body. And just to give you some very simple point, there has been plenty of research showing that if you increase the quantity of daylight in a classroom, the same class, the same students from the same class will have better results, faster performance by 20-25 results to the same things. So you just bring more light and you increase the capability of the people to learn and to make make progress. Of course, if you bring too much, then you will have another problem, or you might face other problems like, one, overheating, second, too much light, glazing, glare, or even too much noise. So there is a right amount of light, right criteria for light, a right criteria for air quality, a right criteria for thermal, a right criteria for acoustics. And all these four, they are interconnected. And when you design, you should be aware of the consequences of doing something over the other dimensions of comfort. Any questions? No questions? Okay. Then for the next 5-10 minutes, just a brief presentation. So these criteria that you have also in the contest task, they are not to be looked at as, you know, by point. If it's 70.1, the project is not good. These are criteria to be looked at as target, and you have seen already in the contest task that we are speaking about strategy. It is important for us as organizer that you understand the main levers and the main procedures to go, rather than the calculation as such by point or by decimal. Nevertheless, if you are going to I give you an example. It's not the case for our task, but just to give you an example that you design multi-family building and you put it to a very busy road, and then you say that the ventilation will be done by opening the windows, then there is going to be a fair question saying, okay, if you are proposing this, okay, maybe it will work from ventilation point of view, although it doesn't, but what you are going to, what the inhabitants are going to do when they are going to open and they are going to have all this noise coming inside during the night when they try to sleep, because there are too many cars going through and making noise and so on and so forth. So rather than looking at the decimal, we want to see the bigger picture and the way that you have designed your strategy. Now, just few brief examples. We were discussing about them slightly later. In case of overheating, if it is an overheating, then you will reduce the productivity by up to 6%. If it's, or let me put it differently, today in all these office buildings, almost 2/3 of the people are distracted by too much noise at the office. If you look at the air quality, up to 10% decrease of the performance because the air cannot be breathable, or it's not breathable. And you can increase the productivity by up to 18% with access to daylight. All of this, as I already mentioned, they are interconnected. So the objective is not to maximize one, let's say thermal, and to minimize the other one, because we didn't gain anything in the end. The objective is to make sure that, taking into account the climate, the site, the limitation of the building, we maximize each of them so that the overall performance is the best. And just to show you things, if we are speaking about hot countries, for example, when you speak about thermal comfort, if there is no insulation, you will have up to or more than 300 kilowatt-hour per square meter in year for cooling. But if you choose to follow some easy guidelines, let's say, and to keep it cool, so first of all, insulate the roof, make the building airtight, use triple solar protective glazing, use optimum windows, either in this case by having some fixed shading or by having some solar protection added to this. You have air cooling, and of course you are not going to go, in our case in Dubai, for night ventilation, because if you open the windows in the night, it is guaranteed that the temperature outside is higher than inside, so you don't win anything. Then you can adjust this and come to the optimum. But we will go a little bit more in detail tomorrow about the thermal. Then, speaking about air quality, I just want to share with you some measurements done in normal apartments. If you have the curiosity to measure the CO2 to make some CO2 measurements, even in your apartment, in case, unless you are having active cooling all the time, you can find that, for example, in this apartment, it's a normal apartment. Here is the father's room. Here is the little daughter, the old daughter, instead of having a level which should be below this yellow line, you can see impressive levels of CO2 concentration that can go up to 5,000 parts per million. And this happens to open the window every 1 hour. Or maybe there is somebody, but most of the time there is nobody. And I can even show you some other measurements from meeting rooms. This is the yellow one is the norms, and with green one you can see the ideal. Now with red you can see the yellow. With red you can see the CO2 concentration, which is basically growing at 2,500 parts per million, which means a reduction of the human performance in making decision of roughly 30 to 40%. And even when you go to brake, although here there is ventilation, the CO2 level doesn't go to the initial level that you start in the morning, and in the second part of the day the levels are even higher. This is because the HVAC system has not been designed and did not take into account the fact that in the meeting room you will have different number of people. So in this case, basically, that's not a good place to make meetings and to have decisions. Now we'll just make 2 more comments. One, which is on daylight, and we will speak about it to understand why the daylight autonomy is better. It's a better indication than the daylight factor, and how to use this. This is going to be in the training about visual comfort. And just one more slide, as we are going to go more into detail during the acoustic. This is, for example, a very interesting graph showing you what is the, it's too big, I'll make it smaller, showing you the relation between the acoustic comfort and the degree of satisfaction of the people that will live in the buildings that you are going to design. And if you look at this, you can, for example, understand very fast that, okay, if I'm going to use a level of an airborne sound insulation of 58, then perhaps 60% of the people that are going to live in the building that I'm doing will say, okay, it is satisfying from acoustic point of view. I'm not annoyed by the neighbors or by the noise from outside. But 58, it's already a lot. Okay, can you still hear me? Yes. Okay, I've lost for the moment the camera. So 58, it's a big, it's a very good level. Most of the time we will be situated here, yeah, and that's why in most of the cities, people living in multifamily houses will find the conditions related to acoustic unsatisfactory. This being said, I hope I've been able to give you a brief idea about the MultiComfort as such. We'll continue tomorrow with the thermal comfort, followed by next days the acoustics and the daylight. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yes, Ivana, about ventilation, go ahead. Well, Ivana, perhaps in some climate might be, but just imagine that you will, if you have natural ventilation, you will push through your building 48 degrees air during the summer in Dubai. Okay guys, thank you very much. If I begin to make a project now, it is possible to make it well before the final. Well, Mahrum, I would say that you need for this project to do it maximum 3 weeks, so there is no problem. Shama, these presentations or all these trainings will be, or they are already the previous one on the website available, and you can watch them online all the time. So all the information is available for you. That being said, yes sir, please take a look at the contest task. It is very clear specified there, and please check the last uploaded CAD drawings where you also have this. The area where you have to design, it is area E001. E001. I will make an update for you all with these questions. No. Please read the, yes sir, please read the contest task. You will see everything there. Thank you to all of you. See you for the next Mona. The file will be available, the registration of this training will be available online. So as soon as we finish, we'll prepare everything and we will upload it. You're welcome. See you guys tomorrow. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you, Ian. You can shut down the training room now. Thank you for